That'll teach me to check my batteries before I start recording this. So I was talking about Project Almanac, which everybody else seems to hate, but I really enjoyed for the most part. It's imperfect, but I can't deny I was entertained. I enjoyed it. There are, I will admit, holes in this story that you could drive a truck through, as time travel movies invariably do. Don't get me started on Back to the Future Part 3 and the whole tire debate, which I'm going to do a video on later. But the only thing there are two things that really bother me about this movie. There are a lot of things, but there are two things in particular. One is, this is a found footage movie, and it doesn't need to be. There's no reason in the world this needs to be a found footage movie. Josh's sister ends up carrying a camera around for the whole story. She ends up carrying a video camera around. And it's not necessary. You could have a camera set up without doing any of that. I don't understand why that was necessary. Maybe it's because I don't know. I hate found footage. It's an idea whose time came and went 8 years ago. It's done with. You know, every once in a while somebody comes up with a new idea, like the first Paranormal Activity. But it's an idea whose time has come and gone, and I hate it. I hate time travel, found footage movies. Maybe that's what people hate about it. Maybe that's maybe that's the thing they really hate about it. I don't know. I really don't. I had to look past it. I really did. It was because when I read the reviews, the critics' reviews and the user reviews, that's the first thing anybody pinpoints, is the fact that this is a found footage movie. I'd love to have seen the reaction to this movie if it wasn't a found footage movie. That might be interesting. That may be why it was pushed back. I don't know, because this thing was pushed back a year, and it had originally a better title. It was originally called Welcome to Yesterday, which is a much better title than Project Almanac. Project Almanac, by the way, is the name of the father's experiments in time travel. Excuse me. But I can't argue with being entertained, despite that objection. The other objection I had was the ending. I felt that the ending was a little too clean. I thought it was just a little too, I don't know, just a little too... It wrapped itself up too tightly. There's an ending, it has at least two endings. One that takes place in a basement that would have been a perfect note to end the movie on. It's a quiet moment that would have been perfect to end the movie on. But it goes on for another 5 minutes, but I thought that was unnecessary. But like I said, those objections aside, I really enjoyed it. So let's move on to trailers. I got 6 this time. Some of them I have seen, some of them I haven't. The first one was Terminator, which, again, sucker for time travel movies. And I don't know. I like the fact that this one is trying something new. They're trying to change the timeline of the first one. It's interesting, but unless they just completely muck up the original, I don't really have a problem with this. Basically, something's happened in the original timeline of the first one, and Sarah Connor has to go back and change it because Skynet has altered the timeline and things have happened, and it sounds intriguing, but as I've said before, it's a brand name, so it's a brand name I like, so I'm gonna go check it out. The second was Jurassic World. This is the first time I saw this trailer in the theater. I saw it on television. And from what I can gather, the new twist this time is, first of all, they're opening the park. This takes place several years later. They're opening the park, and something has happened that the dinosaurs have mutated. And I like the fact they don't show you those dinosaurs. Given how these trailers usually go, they probably will by the time the movie comes out. But at this point, I like the fact that they don't. They're taking the Gremlin approach. They're not showing you the monsters yet. I'm not a huge fan of the Jurassic Park series. I like the first one. I personally think there's only so much you can do with the idea of genetic dinosaurs. I didn't like Lost World. I wasn't a big fan of Jurassic Park 3. This one, I don't know. I guess I'll see it because it's an event film, but and that new twist. But the third one, there are 6 of these. The third one was San Andreas, which I've talked about before. It's a disaster movie. Giant earthquake. There's The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is right in the middle of it. And the San Andreas Fault goes crazy. And Los Angeles goes crazy too. It's basically very simple. It's, I'm not a big fan of disaster movies, but this one, I like the twist in the trailer that the music that plays in the background is kind of a mellow, slowed down version of California Dreamin'. I thought that was a neat twist. Excuse me. The next one is called The Longest Ride. It's the new Nicholas Sparks movies, and God, Nicholas Sparks movies give me a pain in the neck. This one apparently is about an old man who is in a car accident, and he starts looking back over the relationship he had with this girl. He was a rodeo rider, and I don't know. I tend to steer clear of Nicholas Sparks movies, so I think I'll take that approach to this one. The third one was a movie. Just the idea of it pushed me away. It's called The Duff, and it's about a girl in high school who discovers that she's been labeled as a duff, which offensively is designated ugly fat friend. And then she starts looking at the social pecking order, and the premise, that premise just pushed me away, and I was not interested. The next one is one that I probably will see next week. I don't know. I got 2 choices next week. The last one was SpongeBob, the next SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which I really enjoyed the first one. And from what I've seen of the show is hilarious in that 10 to 12-year-old sort of way. And the trailer made me laugh. I can't help it. The trailer did make me laugh, so I probably will go and see that. But anyway, Project Almanac, I really enjoyed. I recommend it if you can get past the fact that it's got found footage in it and kind of a crummy ending. But if you go on my recommendation, I would say go see it. Rotten Tomatoes, the critical consensus is a 38%. They say no. I watched the midnight screenings from the Cinema Snob. They hated it. They poked holes in it. You might poke holes in it. I didn't. I enjoyed it. And I'm probably alone in liking it. But, if you take my recommendation, go check it out. See for yourself. If not, at least check it out on DVD. You might even like it better on a DVD than you would in the theater. But anyway, next week I've got a choice between SpongeBob or Jupiter Ascending, which I haven't really decided which. But until then, visit my website. I'm at www.armchaircinema.com. And until next time, see ya.